Don't Tell Principal Dubrow, but we're here to talk about Real Housewives of OC. We're talking about season 11, episode 7, coming at you right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. We're here to talk about episode Shock and Roll. And we're here to talk about a little bit of a crash tonight over in the OC or in Glamis. I'm your host, Grant Rutter, and you can find me everywhere and on Twitter at Grants__Rants. And here, talking tonight.
What's up, everyone? I'm Thomas Orlina. You can find me at Thomas Orlina on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook.
Hey guys, I'm Christy Olson, and if you think this was a crass choice of music to open the show with, I am the one to blame, and I say they're okay, it's fine, We're just being cheeky. But if you've got a problem with it, tweet me, Instagram, Snapchat, it's all at Christy Reports. I love to hear from you. Good things too.
There you go. Good things are enforced here. And shout out to Blake, who says that she'll be here next week and for the rest of the season, so we will see you then.
Yes,
you,
girl.
We
Have
miss
fun on your
Blake the
vacay.
panel, yes. So let's talk about tonight's episode. It opens up all these, the ladies are getting ready for their trips. So again, they're leaving the OC. You've got some of the ladies are going to Glamis, and then you've got Megan and Shannon who are going back to the desert. And I was like, wait a minute, Megan, weren't you just in the desert last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess she's all about this R&R. Like, she wants to basically do absolutely nothing.
It's a smart move on her part to not do too much.
Yeah, and I can't blame Jimmy for the little bit of time that he has there with her to kind of want to get out of the usual house. You know?
Yeah.
Make it feel like a vacay, the little bit of time they do get to spend together.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a beautiful home. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I'm sure that the place that they have in La Quinta is quite nice. Yeah, I assume so. Shannon, we'll talk about Shannon real quick because we didn't see much of her in this episode. But she is closed. She has closing on her house, and like we've heard that she's been trying to sell this house for a very long time. I know, Christy, you've talked about it.
Yeah.
So they have a 13-day period in which they can pack, which is unreal to me. And yet they're leaving for the desert.
Well, let's keep in mind that Shannon has the means to hire someone to pack for her. She could literally stand there and point or not even have to be there at all.
Yeah. Well, and it depends how much they're even moving, because they have to put together a list of the things that are important to her, but they're purchasing the house furnished.
Yeah. I just like when they did flashbacks of all the rooms, it just makes you realize how big that house is. She's not that cocky about it, but it's a very fancy house.
They have their own in-home basketball court and craft room.
And their own gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they're leaving the basketballs. Well, yeah, so what do they really have to pack up if this is being purchased furnished?
Yeah. That must be weird, though, to, like, just walk out of your house and, like, leave your furniture behind and be like, all right, got my clothes, we're out. Like, and so they're looking at short-term leases or rentals, but, you know, there's some stipulations. I wrote them down. It needs to at least be 4 bedrooms. It needs to have an office, a playroom, a pool, hardwoods, 3 washing machines, and she's leaving behind the hospital-grade air. So and the crystals built in and buried in the basement. So there's a lot that she's leaving behind here.
I mean, maybe she can find another home with crystals buried in the basement, you know? It's super common.
And the hospital grade air, I wonder really what benefits come from that in a home. Like, if you really feel better, if that's a worthy investment, you know?
Mm-hmm.
True.
Because it's one thing, there's a lot of technology now with clean air and, you know, filtration systems and things like that. So I'm just so curious to know, like, is it that much better? Like,
I never thought we'd have to debate this.
Yes.
In Shannon's
on our
world,
show.
it is.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm
I
thinking
know,
like this whole open was a bit of a snooze fest.
A little bit.
Slow
Now I
start.
understand why they couldn't give us drama the whole time.
Yeah.
After
Yes.
how it ended, but all the packing and the house selling's like whatever. We already watched Heather do this seasons ago.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
we
And
get
we're
it.
still
It's
watching
terrible.
her
Have a
do
big
it.
house. Have to move.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Heather, she had quite the trailer that was not good enough. And when she walked in, she was like, "Why? What? I wanted something a little bit more." And she related it to, this was a trailer from an independent, low-budget film I once had. Like, I love that.
Before they had announced that the trailer could expand, I was looking at it and I was like, for her, this is pretty basic. And then when it started to, move, I think that's where the fancy part came up, and she
Yeah.
outshined everybody else's trailer for sure.
Of course.
Oh my gosh. See, where I come from in middle America, a trailer with a pop out is not necessarily fancier, but I'll take it either way. It did look much, much better than the ones I've seen on campgrounds.
Yes.
At, Candy Ojai County Park on Green Lake,
Yeah. It looked, I mean, I have to say the campsite overall looked kind of fun and cute. It looked like you could tell like production was involved with like putting those blue lights on the dunes or whatever, in the back. Like it looked good for the show, and I thought it was kind of nice. They had like the flags and all the chairs lined up, and everyone had a little plant. Like, it was as glampy as it could be. I think.
Yeah. It was nice to see everybody there. We saw, Tamra's son and her niece. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, Sarah and Ryan. Who else? Jolie and Kelly's husband, who she doesn't seem to want to be with, but he came. He was there.
Yeah.
Her daughter didn't really get that much camera time. I don't know if that was planned or if it was. We didn't really see her that
No,
much.
I
We
wanted
definitely
to see
saw
more of her and Nikki sitting in the back of that dune buggy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it almost seemed like they were hitting it off a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I'm jealous of the food that Heather had, all prepackaged, labeled.
Of course.
And then she had to even take a selfie with like putting a pre-made hot dog on the grill. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I buy everything like the pre-shrink wraps. Like I love anything like
heck yeah.
that,
Yeah.
So like I'm completely with her, but I don't have any labels and stuff like that. But
I love
she
that
did
part.
it right. She did it right, and I think she was a good sport because that clearly was not her idea of like a weekend. She was there, happy to be with her son, like just made the most of being with friends, and I give her credit. And I'm glad that we didn't have to hear any real complaining beyond the fact that it was from a low budget film.
Yeah, she was definitely being field trip mom on this episode.
Yeah.
We weren't
Yeah.
pinky in the air.
Yeah, and more power to her. The fact that Nikki was excited to go seemed to kind of be her motivation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, for anyone still interested in watching Megan go to the doctor, they had a scene today to enjoy in this episode. And I feel like we've kind of seen a doctor's appointment a week, haven't we?
We really have.
Yeah, and you know what? If I had to predict, I'd say maybe we got one coming every episode.
I think so. Well, this one, Megan at least wasn't alone or with her mom. She actually did have her husband who made an appearance. And, it was interesting. She pointed out, before all the results came and everything, she pointed out that her current husband, Jim, has 4 kids with 2 prior women and that she doesn't, it was all cut up. I
Yes.
noticed this interview bite was all cut up. So I'm sure that she meant to like try to make it sound a little more positive than it came across. But she's like, yeah, but I don't want to raise this baby by myself. Well, I mean, it's a little dramatic, it's not like the marriage is crumbling that we're seeing, it's not like she's like Tamra and Simon, So, I just thought that was kind of an interesting point. At this doctor's appointment, they were looking at the level of pregnancy. And Christy, we were like, what is that?
We're like, yeah, you can be super duper pregnant, kind of pregnant.
Halfway, like half,
halfway,
yeah, pregnant.
Like you could hang on to it tight, what does that even mean?
I thought it was like black or white. Like I thought it was like you're either are or you're not. Like there's no such thing as being half pregnant. You know what I mean? Like that's what they tell young girls. Like you're in it or you're not. So.
But you know what? I guess that's her thing this season, and she's really owning everything because people like us that are watching it and not familiar with all these things, it's a learning process for people with IVF. And I think I think sometimes we want a lot of the drama, and I'm here for it too. But seeing that part of it, and the fact that she's had a successful pregnancy thus far, I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
As far as the comments that she was making about Jim at the beginning of the scene, I wonder if those were just the ones that they chose to put in at that time, because if she would have been saying, oh my gosh, Jimmy's so excited and we're all so excited and this is going to be great, juxtaposed with the scene of him not even being able to smile, it would have been quite awkward.
Well, let's talk about that when they got the phone call, the positive result.
Oh, yes. No, I'm sorry. That was not the doctor.
Yeah, but it's all the same. I mean, he's got the same look on his face in all these scenes. I mean, I've been really kind of trying to defend this guy and be like, it's just how he's coming across on camera. But you know what? When they received that phone call, that was, unless if that was something that they did for the show and they already received a formal phone call off camera and that they called, like, they did a reshoot or something like that. And, I don't expect him to be an actor, but she looked pretty surprised. And he, like you said, not even a smile on his face.
You do have a good point there. You know, you never know with Bravo if they would have went back and redone that scene, but I would have loved to see a little bit more excitement. I mean, this is a baby coming into the world, and I don't know. I was a little disappointed.
He's even like, well, I'm not gonna cry, but it's good. Like, okay.
This might just be how he is. I'm not sure. You
Yeah.
know, never met the guy.
Well, it's bizarre. It's bizarre because I mean, show some kind of emotion. You know,
Yeah.
even if you're disappointed, I feel like we could have seen that on his face. You just get nothing from him, and it makes me think of how they came in and chatted with us right after they kind of
right.
first premiered on the show last
Yeah.
season, and we saw such a different dynamic from them in person from what we were given on the show. But man, I've been saying that now for a season and a
Yeah.
half, and I just don't know how much longer we can give him the benefit of the
not-
doubt.
How was
Yeah,
their interaction?
not
I
at
saw
this
that photo
point.
online of you guys interviewing them. How were they?
They were sweet and genuine, and a lot more. He was a lot more lively.
Yeah, he had his own opinions on things from the show, and they seemed, very close. And she even said, she's like, we don't see each other much, so we'd love the car right up here because we got to spend time
That's right.
together.
Yeah.
And so, they were very happy. I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
you never know.
Yeah, but
We would have wanted to
wish
see
them
more
well.
excitement, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's getting raked through the coals on social media tonight. So
Right.
yeah.
he's probably regretting not forcing a smile just for the cameras.
Yeah. Well, let's flash back to the campsite where a moment that I thought was kind of cute was when Vicki was running up the. She could have been run over, that fool, but running up to see
know.
what was on the other side of the dune. And then Nick was like, "Is she drunk? Are you sure?"
Is she always like this?
Yes.
Yeah, it's classic.
Yes, Nikki, she is.
Yeah, that's Vicky. And Eddie celebrating his birthday, which we didn't have any real
Background,
moment
yeah.
with, but
Listen, after seeing how Eddie celebrates on him and Tamra's little spin-off show from a couple years ago when they got married, I don't think this would have been appropriate with the children there. All right? Okay. We don't need to see him licking any strippers at Glamis.
yes.
Okay.
I remember that hot tub.
I kid, Eddie, I kid.
Remember that tub scene when they were together. With, like,
Simon still uses that in his court documents.
oh
Oh my
god.
god.
Let that
Against
go.
her.
Oh my god.
It actually, I thought it was done a little bit more. It wasn't that bad for me. Like, I thought it was okay.
It was just
Oh,
hot.
do you remember? You remember?
I remember that, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, Tamra looked amazing. I
is
thought
true.
it looked, the setting,
Yeah.
I mean,
That will
Yeah.
always give her.
yeah.
So Eddie taught Nick how to run the ATV, and Heather made an interesting comment that Terry would definitely be there to teach him, but he has to protect his hands, which of course I can understand. But I just can't picture Terry going out to the desert to do that.
No.
I mean, he barely shows up to the kids' events just to sit in the audience. I mean, that's an awful lot to ask, I think. I mean, it shouldn't be, but just considering what we've been told.
Yeah, good thing Max wasn't there. She would have sent him a picture of an empty dune buggy seat.
Yeah, exactly. So I did a little research. We'll talk about the accident. I was curious when this actually happened. It happened on Saturday, August 2nd. So we're now in September. So what is that, 5 months?
So you said
April.
August 2nd? Did you mean
Sorry,
September?
April 2nd.
I was going to say,
yeah.
just now?
Yeah.
Okay, April 2nd,
May,
yeah.
June, July, August, September. So yeah, 5 months.
Yeah.
So I like to play with the timelines, and it's usually always about between 5 and 5.5 months out on most of these cities. Now we of course have known about this accident for a long time. That's why I went back. I was like, wait, when did this even really happen? Because we've been talking about it. So yeah, I mean, it didn't look good. We saw the full rollover, and the placement of the cameras was awesome because we get to actually see the pouring of the sand, the movement.
Yeah.
It was well done. I mean, it was well produced.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's fake. I'm just saying the way they presented it and cut it, it was really intense.
Yeah,
know what?
definitely not fake.
Yeah.
I think Kelly, out of everybody there, was probably the most lucky. I mean, her helmet came off. She said that, she didn't snap it in correctly originally, but just goes to show you, when you're doing things like this, you have to follow protocol,
Yeah.
That could have been really bad for her. for sure.
Yeah, she kind of explained more in an interview that I read today, and she was saying that she was feeling really claustrophobic with the helmet on and being in this small car, and so she did sort of loosen it up. And the fact that she wasn't the one who came out of this the worst for wear is just unbelievable.
Well, that's what was interesting was that Heather and Kelly walked away Heather got up immediately and was like in protecting mode, or help mode. But the other two, Vicki and Tamra, really, I guess the roof fell on them. Is that what it said? Yeah. That's what they said. Yeah.
It looked like it turned on Tamra's side. So I think Vicki got the tail end of the car.
Yeah.
It seemed, though, perhaps Vicki's a little dramatic, but it seemed like Vicki really was not in a good place. Where Tamra didn't have to be airlifted where Vicki had to be. So that's the status, basically. Interesting moment was when Kelly called up Brianna and was like, hey, we're in the desert, your mom's really hurt, we got a big accident, oh, you're not feeling good, all right, goodbye. And I was like, wait, what? Like, it's a lot to put on someone. The way she did it wasn't really good at breaking bad news.
Yeah, no. I think she was just, maybe it was just, she was just in the moment, she didn't know how to deliver it, and you never know.
At least someone thought to call
her,
her daughter, but...
I think they were surprised at other cast members' reactions when they did give the phone call to them, because it wasn't what they were expecting at all. But we'll get into that.
Yes.
Well, guys, before we continue chatting about this, can I tell you about a little one of our sponsors that is one of my personal favorites, actually. I want to tell you guys about Eloquii. They are a privately owned online retailer offering women's plus-size clothing and awesome accessories. I got a really cute pink quartz necklace from them and some kick butt earrings. Blake got some great jewelry that she loves as well. And some of our plus size friends got clothes that they tell us make them feel sexy. And I've actually seen a lot of photos from our AfterBuzz girls who got some tops and bottoms and dresses from Eloquii, and they look good.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Eloquii is changing the world of plus size fashion. They launched directly in response to consumer demand for stylish clothing for plus size women, size 14 to 28. They've got new styles added to the site daily. I know some of you ladies have a hard time finding trendy stuff that you love. You will not have a problem with Eloquii. Full collections launch every month. They believe in the transformative power of fashion. Get inspired by their lookbooks with the latest trends. They ship throughout the U.S. and Canada. You can get free shipping on orders over $100. No questions asked. No hassle. Exchanges are free. You can return items if you're not completely satisfied. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention they have shoes as well, which are super cute. Super cute. And you can get you can get 50% off your first item and 40% off any additional items at eloquii.com/buzzoc. That's ELOQUII.com/BUZZOC during checkout.
Sounds good.
So hit them up. Gorgeous, gorgeous stuff, I gotta tell you. No matter what your body size, they've got something for you there.
Now's the time to go shopping anyways, because we're going into fall. It's time for new gear. So you guys check it out.
/BuzzOC, because we're watching the OC.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. Heather calls up Megan, and she tells her of the accident. Megan's like shocked, and Jim's just like, what? He's like barely. He doesn't want to even be in the room with the cameras.
I'm not
I want to know what would make Jim jump out of his chair, like out of happiness or disgust or what.
We're here to break him down.
What would it be? Yeah.
What
I should watch some of
him?
his baseball coverage. I wonder if he gets excited while he's watching sports. Maybe he just saves it for that.
Maybe. What? Everyone's got something they're excited. It's like like a Star Wars movie. Like I'm just thinking. I'm like, what would it be? But
maybe movies on the private plane. They've been promoting Wheels Up. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the private jet service, but Megan's always wearing her private jet hat. So maybe a movie, like something to get him excited.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea. Definitely
We're watching
not.
you, Jim.
Apparently, raking in that cash is what gets him excited. They're flying private.
The gloves are off when it comes to Jim on this show, I think. Right?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. No,
come back. Come sit with us. Show us how much you love each other again.
Yeah, there's a lot we can ask you, especially about she's had the child, she's had the baby now, right?
No,
She
no,
hasn't-
still
no.
pregnant. She's like 6 months at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, good. Yeah, that would make sense then because this was all shot in April. We're 5 months in. She's yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should ask the viewers like what their opinions are on him. Our comment boxes are filled with conversations about our show, so
Yeah, and we read them all. So
comment
yeah.
away.
Yeah, what is your guys' take on this?
I mean, this is like the big moment. This was the big news. I mean, this was like, where else can you go and have such a reaction within a pregnancy than the announcement? So, yeah, I don't know. Let us know. We want to know what you think. What else can we say here? Oh, Heather is describing this accident that happened, and she's going, Kelly's drinking beer.
I mean,
love
she
that.
clearly saw her opening it. I think that was just shade all the way
Yeah.
to like reinforce the fact that Kelly drinks a lot. I mean, she had the beer in her hand before she made the phone call, but it was
Right.
just
Yeah.
perfect to just announce it when
Yes.
everybody was on the conference call.
Kelly is instantly back in the principal's office, and she's instantly like underage again, drinking. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, who
Yeah.
cares? This mother, this grown woman, is having a beer after a stressful day.
Oh, but guys, come on, seriously, beer,
Yeah.
ew.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not a beer drinker.
No.
No. But what else can we say?
Her reaction.
Yes, and then Kelly had a scene with Tamra's mom, which was kind of nice, and I was wondering why Tamra's mom didn't go to the hospital with her. But I
Yeah.
guess they could only take Eddie. Maybe that's my assumption in the ambulance.
I'm
Oh, I
sure
bet
she.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so of course the husband's gonna go, but yeah, I like when we get to see Tamra's mom. I don't know, it kind of humanizes Tamra a little bit more to me. Like we don't see her that much, and I don't know, I like their relationship.
Yeah,
me
and
too.
she's one of the extended family members that we've gotten to know
True.
over the seasons. You know, we
Yes.
have seen her and Tamra go back and forth on different things. And remember, we saw her go on a date
Yeah.
Yes,
last season
last
and
season.
stuff. So yeah, we've gotten to know her a little bit. It's nice to see her, and in this very raw moment where she clearly was. This was a good way of relaying to the viewers how serious the accident really was.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know, to see her mom sitting there and saying, "Oh, I saw her feet, and I knew it was her." I mean, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
you
they were
never know.
reeling. They were really reeling from the whole thing. Heather tells Megan that Vicki is alone in the hospital. It's only about 45 minutes away from where they are currently, and Megan says, "Oh, that's too bad. That's just too
I really want to
bad."
know both of your opinion on that reaction.
The girl should have went with it. She should have went. If she wanted to look good, she would have made an appearance.
She should have made an appearance either way, I think. I understand. Well, no, I don't. It's not, I mean, no, you go. Someone that you know is in the hospital and needs to see a familiar face or just needs to have someone there to even relate to the other ladies. Oh, this is how Vicky's doing. You know, go for the other ladies because they can't be there.
Right.
You know, maybe Vicky's not your friend, but they are, and they wish they could be there with her and they can't.
Yeah, or
So
go
them.
for Brianna too. They're friends
Yes.
outside of the show because they're very similar in age. So Brianna and Megan, I don't know their current status, but I know at the end of last season they posted a lot of photos together. So like, go for her. I'm sure you can send her a text. You know, just go on her behalf. I think that if it's recommended to you or encouraged that you go, you look like an idiot if you don't. It's one thing to be like to learn of the news and know that you're close, but you know, if they don't know that you're close, like you can probably get away with not going. But I mean, it does look good.
I don't know why, but I feel like Andy Cohen is going to be grilling her about not going for sure because I'm 50-50. I wanted to get your view first. I know it's obviously the right thing to do, but I get with Megan last season. I mean, these women, it takes like a season or two for them to get over their beef. And so I felt like she thought she was going to look a little contradictory with like going and showing up and being like, let me be there for you. And I don't know.
I mean, let's be real. It'd be so awkward.
It would be. And she specifically said that they weren't friends. They're not friends. So, I'm 50-50 on her.
Well, let's not forget that Vicki brought her that nice gift. Was that last episode or the episode before?
Yes.
And I'm thinking right now, if the tables were turned, I think Vicki would go. Vicki would go.
know.
I think she would.
That's a good
I really
one.
think she would. At this point in their non-friendship, I think Vicki would have gone if
We
it
know
would be Megan
Shannon
in the
would go
hospital.
for sure.
I think Vicky.
Shannon would have
I
gone.
think Vicky would go, but not alone. She would go with someone else. She would go with the Heather, just like in tow. Like
Yeah.
that's what I think. I don't know if she would elect to go by herself. And if I were Megan in that scene, what I would say is, "Oh, that's really terrible." As you know, I'm seeing Shannon in a moment. I'm gonna talk this over with her. We'll see what we're gonna do.
She could have played it up a little bit more, I guess. Yeah.
Be like, let me talk to Shannon about it, and like, cause just make it an excuse. Like Jim's busy, or Jim's gone to the golf course, or he doesn't want to go. So like, let me talk with Shannon, and we'll see what we can do. At least just instead of being like, oh, that's too bad. Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, she didn't even try to make it sound like she cared.
No.
I think because also Jim was not about to miss his golf session and they had their day planned. So, I think because I'm sure he spent nights or conversations with her talking about Vicki and everything that happened last season. He didn't want to be a part of it. She didn't want to, she's going through a pregnancy. She just found out she's having her baby. I feel like she wanted to be far removed from Vicki, even though it was a tragic situation.
Yeah.
But they're not friends, so.
Well, I don't think the ladies are gonna let her get away with it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I think Vicki. I'm going to jump real quick and predict that I think that Vicki at the reunion is going to really be upset.
Yeah, she's one to. It's funny with Vicki because she's in the losing corner, and the season progresses, and she finds herself in the winning position whenever she gets to that reunion. So this is definitely going to be her. I mean, look at what happened to her. She's getting airlifted. I mean, she's definitely going to be the winner when it comes to the reunion.
Yeah. I felt bad for her. I really kind of did. Because
Yeah,
they were having so much fun, and it ruined the whole setup and everything. It was kind of like when they went back, and then when Kelly had that scene with Tamra's mom, and like they kind of showed like the campsite like abandoned. It was kind of like sad, because it's all too real. It's not like someone left in the middle of the night like angry. It's like these women are checked into the hospital.
Yeah. And Tamra feels responsible for it.
Yeah,
and
she really felt.
When she's been doing this and she was a kid, she said, hey, come and do this thing, and I know what's up, and I'm in the driver's seat. I think if I was in her position, she definitely shouldn't feel guilty, but I would feel the exact same way. I mean, man, to be the reason that your friend has to be airlifted, that's truly overwhelming.
Yeah.
She's like indebted to Vicki for a while.
Yeah.
She's gonna have to put up with some Vicki crap for a while to make up for this.
This on top of everything else, with trying to rebuild a friendship and trying to build that trust, and like it's like it's still very shaky ground. It's not like they're that super tight, so it's like ugh. The one thing I planned to try to make everyone happy and come together, and
it was nice to see Shannon. I guess on the preview for next episode, be concerned and sympathetic. I'm telling you, I said last week, I'm seeing them come together at some point. So it was nice for her to, be sympathetic more so than Megan.
Let's talk about Shannon's look real quick before we go into some news and gossip.
Yes, please.
I just love it. I love that, like, that golf course, like, trying to be, like, wealthy look. I'm not saying she's broke, but I'm just saying I think it's just funny. Like, it's trying to be, like, that country club, like, waspy type,
I was telling you, and I love the Kardashians. I got a very Caitlyn Jenner vibe with the polo. It was very Caitlyn Jenner chic.
Yes.
That's what she was going for.
That's what she wears to play golf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I think that was her inspiration. I really do.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting choice all around because that's not a trendy look. That's not a cute, fashionable look. And she has said before, oh, I didn't look great my first season on Housewives, and now I'm really careful about how I dress and this and that. And she had to have known that was not going to translate well on camera, no matter where you were or what golf course you were at. Like, Shannon.
To me, it was like a very, like, 80s, like, movie set in Beverly Hills type look.
You weren't getting, like, a polo, like, vibe to it? No.
Not the vibe. I don't think I was getting the vibe she wanted me to get from it. Just saying that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we love shit. I'm just goofing on the outfit. I'm not making fun of the woman. I'm just goofing on the outfit because I think it was kind of silly. And we'll see more of it next week. But before we talk about next week, let's turn to Christy for some news and gossip.
Yes. We're always here for that.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Oh, guys, Vicki Gunvalson is starting spin-off rumors again. Remember a few weeks ago, she had said, she would love to do a show with Tamra. Now she's kind of trying to suggest it to Bravo again. The blogs picked up on this story, so if you've read this the last couple days, is Vicki getting a spin-off? This just comes from a tweet that a fan sent her that said, it would be so awesome for Vicki to have a family-esque spin-off. I love her family together. They have such a genuine bond. Vicki retweeted it, and hence the seed is planted. And the whole blogosphere is chatting. However, very, very little evidence to support that this will ever actually happen, besides the fact that I would like to see it happen too.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
We all love Brianna. I mean, she has to have one of the higher Q scores on the show.
Seems like everybody else
I would
gets
say
a
maybe
spin-off.
double some of the other ladies. That's true too.
Everybody
yeah.
gets a spin-off, so why not the original?
That's true. I never feel like the OC gets the love that it deserves. I mean, Atlanta gets a spinoff anytime anyone does anything. Candy goes on a ski trip and they have to have. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like ridiculous.
We love Candy.
But this show needs a little more. I mean, Tamra's OC wedding was like reminded me of like a Barbie special.
Yes.
You know, like Tamra's
It's like Barbie
OC
Life in the Dream
wedding.
House on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, I want to see a little bit more, but these ladies, a few of them need to do a little bit more. Like we don't need to see Megan have a pregnancy spinoff, you know. But I'm okay seeing Vicki and Tamra do something, and then even the Dubrows.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a
Moving to
fabulous
LA.
lifestyle, you know. I mean, let's do an interior design show with the Dubrows.
Oh, yeah. I'd watch it.
Yes.
Well, you know who won't be getting a spinoff because she ain't on the show no more is Mitch Gretchen Rossi, who, guys, I'm here to tell you, is still not married. However, she is talking a little bit about her struggles with Slade to have a baby. We've heard a little bit about this, but she says for the last like 2.5 years, they've gone through IVF. They had a point where there were 14 embryos that actually died off right before she was supposed to be implanted. She said that was one of the most difficult times of their lives, emotionally, physically, extremely draining. Then about 8 months ago, after that didn't pan out, he had a surgery to reverse his vasectomy. Slade had a vasectomy years ago. That's their issue. And now they're trying to do it naturally. They're going to give it about a year. And the fact that they haven't gotten married, she says they want a baby before the wedding because, quote, it doesn't feel right to spend $200,000 on a wedding.
Wow.
When they're trying to have a baby, you know, with the issues that his son has brain cancer and has been dealing with that for quite a while. And, you know, she said they don't do anything in a small way. So she just had to drop a number and
Of course.
the whole thing. But you guys can read the full interview at people.com.
Gretchen, if you really wanted to marry that guy, you would walk down to the courthouse and you'd take care of it in an afternoon. Mm-hmm. You don't need to worry about doing things in a big way. You'd at least get married and then have the party afterwards. You can do a joint party. You can make a $300,000 party. You can pair it with a baby shower and the wedding ceremony all at once. When it comes to excuses and these long engagements, I'm like Wendy Williams. Do you watch her?
Yeah, of
she's
course.
like, I smell a rat when I see a long engagement. I'm like, yeah. And I mean, were they even really engaged? If she proposed to him on like the downtown LA rooftop? Yeah. I mean, who knows? Those two, I don't know. That's the thing. I would love to see her back on the show, but I don't believe anything those two have to say.
I think that's the problem. And, you know, we could speculate that the issue is probably still that Slade owes a lot of child support and is probably deep in debt over his son's medical bills and owed child support, and that issue still hasn't been addressed since they were dealing with it when we saw her on the show.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, if she was still on the show, I don't know what else she would have going on because it seems like we're exactly where she was on her last season.
I think that's what
You're
I was
right.
saying about Housewives when these women find themselves alienated and when they lose all their friends. I mean, there's only one thing to do but to take you off the show. So sometimes
Yeah.
you have to pump your brakes. I feel like with Kelly, she needs to make sure she holds on to Vicki and make sure that she gets the women to stay with her, or she will be the next one out.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, let's talk a little bit about Kelly. She gave an interview and offered a little more insight on this glamorous crash. She said, I had a guardian angel there. We could have died. I could have been a paraplegic. She mentioned again how Tamra's been doing this four-wheeling in glamour since she was a kid. Kelly said she felt very safe. There was a bunch of safety teams around them while they were getting ready. She remembers parts of the roof. Kelly remembers parts of the roof actually falling in on them, scraping Heather's forehead, and that's what knocked Tamra unconscious. Vicki suffered severe whiplash. She knocked her head into Kelly twice. So there's your
okay,
whiplash.
yeah.
Kelly says she just had cuts and bruises. The others were much worse off, but you guys can get that full interview at ET Online. And just one more little tidbit. Every week I got to give you our Megan and Jim divorce rumor update.
Okay.
The blogs are still talking, and she just keeps kind of teasing it and shooting everybody down. She posted a photo on Instagram and said, our marriage is in jeopardy, can't you tell? A photo of she and Jim smiling in a boat on vacation. So, and she says, too, that Jim is reportedly working on the baby's nursery. So she just wants us to believe that all is good. I hope it is.
I hope so too. Yeah. Now more than ever. So, Well, good news and gossip. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Squeeze that orange juice.
Yeah, you got me thinking about Gretchen, though.
Yeah.
We could do a deep dive on this show about her in general. I miss her on the show in certain
I do
respects.
too.
Okay,
But I mean-
guys, for next week, I saw again, we have Megan, and who is she having a one-on-one like dinner with to discuss things? Was it Heather?
Heather.
There better not be Tamra there. There better not be another person
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
there. I want to have a conversation between them two.
You don't want Gretchen to pop
Yeah.
up there?
No, no, no.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's predict what's coming up.
Yeah.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What do you want to say, Thomas? What are you thinking?
I think Megan is gonna have to do a lot of damage control via Twitter. I'm pretty sure all the comments are really nasty towards her. Maybe they might be 50-50 with how I feel, but she's gonna possibly have to do a lot of damage control for not even making any efforts to go see Vicki, even though, you know, she said that she's not her friend. You know, I wonder what that conversation's gonna be with Heather, because she doesn't look too pleased with her decision.
No, and the previews made it seem like it was Megan putting Heather in her place, but I predict that that is not the case at all. I think Heather, you know, she's so good at condescendingly telling somebody off, and I think she is going to make Megan actually feel bad for not going to visit Vicki, although she probably won't admit it.
Yeah.
Right.
They're gonna need to like have like a group therapy like they did on Real Housewives of Atlanta when they were in the room with all the women to just like get everything out and not have Andy Cohen there. We need like another person that's gonna get everybody on the same page, because it's every season. If somebody does something to somebody else, it boils on, it keeps going, and it never ends. So I think that's
Oh, back at the campsite, they were saying, like, how far are you? Heather was like, how far are you from the hospital or whatever? Or from Palm Springs.
Palm Springs, yes, Palm Springs
So they
Regional.
said, like, oh, it's they're 3 hours away, and then Megan's like, well, you should go, just you go. And yeah, that's not gonna. Like, she goes, you go because you guys are friends, not me. So yeah,
I predict that was the wrong argument to make.
Yes, yeah. Well, I predict that's gonna make a lot of commentary. Like, we're gonna hear from each housewife's POV on why Megan didn't make an appearance. I'm curious to see what Vicki has to say about all this.
Oh, I know. You already know Vicki is going to come out, and she just plays it up so well. You know, it's going to be about Vicki, and
She
it's going
wants
to
a
be about the fact
casserole.
that she didn't get a casserole. No flowers came in. I don't know.
I feel like Tamra might spiral out of control a little bit out of guilt. I'm curious to see how she's going to handle this and what the ladies say to her and what she says to them. I'm worried that she could kind of go off the deep end again.
Yeah.
Become that crazy Tamra again. Just because she
okay.
doesn't know what to do with these feelings. She feels bad. And she's like, oh, I screwed everything up anyway. Why don't I go script some more stuff?
Well, it looked like Megan was saying something negative against Tamra, and then Vicki told her to go to hell over FaceTime.
Yes, Megan said, I'm angry at Tamra for being so reckless.
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Yeah. And Vicki's still writing for Tamra at this point, so.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see these relationships going and seeing, you know, what Shannon's going to feel later on with Vicki, if Kelly and Vicki are still going to be ride or die BFFs.
I'm really glad to see that Megan is kind of caught in the middle of a mess, though, because it's time for her to, you know, we've seen a lot of Shannon, we've seen a lot of Kelly, you know, Heather's been in and out of it too. So it's like now it's Megan's turn.
Yeah, I see Megan coming back next season after having the baby. I still feel like even though this season where she's so heavily focused on her appointments, I think she'll bring it if they bring her back.
Yeah. We need to give her another caper.
Yeah, and one thing, have we seen a brand new mom on the show? I mean, I guess Brianna and Sarah and Ryan, but as far as one of the housewives having just had a baby, we haven't gotten that on
we didn't have
Real
that.
Housewives of Orange County, at least not for a decade or so.
yeah.
I don't think ever that I can think of. It's always grandkids. So it would certainly be a
yeah.
new and interesting point of view.
Yeah, I mean, like Lydia had kids, but they were young, but she didn't have them on the
Lydia.
show.
Right.
You know,
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, seeing one of these housewives and the youngest one
Yeah,
dealing
yeah.
with a brand new baby when her
Right.
husband is usually halfway across the country. I mean, I'm not into babies, but that does sound kind of interesting.
It
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to keep watch, and you can keep watch with us here, of course,
Yeah.
at AfterBuzz TV by keeping up with us and supporting our social media endeavors. Where can we find you guys, and what are you doing, Christy? I know you have a lot going on.
I do. Guys, if you are pro wrestling fans or if you have got sons, please download, or sons or daughters. I love the young ladies who get into it. Please download the Fight TV app and check out Paragon Pro Wrestling. Also, X-Pac. I know you guys know who X-Pac is. Yes. Has started a brand new show right here at AfterBuzz TV called X-Pac 1 12360. We are talking to some of his friends, Scott Hall, Billy Gunn. It is
Nice.
big, so please
good.
check that out as well. All the links are on my social media at Christy Reports. I appreciate it.
Nice.
You guys can follow me at Thomas Orlina on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. And next week I will be on the panel for Robin China, so stay tuned for that.
Oh, cool. Some new people to dissect.
Yeah.
You guys can find me over on Twitter at Grants__rants. And you can find me on my new original show, What's Old is New Again, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk, is going to a new app, Bid Chat. Search for it now. The new date is coming up shortly. It's very interesting. The same show with a remix. That'll do it for us. For the OC Housewives, we'll be back next week to talk all this fighting over this ATV accident.
Yes.
Show up. We'll be here.
Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.